Welcome to the Big Movement Podcast. If you're ready to create results and make huge strides in your business, finances, personal development, and health, then you're in the right place. Pushing past excuses and powering through procrastination can be a challenge alone. Here, you'll get the support, tools, and knowledge you need to get to the level you desire in your business and life. Let's get started with your host, Byron Ingram.
And welcome to another episode of the podcast. And today, we're talking about, are we truly celebrating freedom? You know, each July 4th here in the U.S., Independence Day is celebrated. And if you were to talk to people and ask them, what are they celebrating? Or ask them, how are they celebrating freedom? You know, most people, they're just going through the motions. And the reason why I say that is because they're doing the same exact thing that they've done pretty much every weekend. They might shoot some fireworks off because they can actually get them. But they're doing the same thing they did for Memorial Day and their birthday, and it was beginning of summer, so it's the same thing. So are people truly celebrating freedom the way that it was meant to be? And if you think about freedom, what is it that you're thinking about? For some people, when they think about freedom, especially for Independence Day, they're simply thinking, well, I have the day off, so this is a great reason to celebrate. And for other people, it's freedom from persecution, because some people, they left a place where their homes were being bombed, or they weren't sure if they were going to be able to wake up the next morning because they might have been shot, or they're running from persecution. So they're celebrating the freedom to live their life because of that. But for the vast majority of people, it's simply following a ritual that was established in the past. People just done it over and over again. And you might be thinking, but no, we really do celebrate this. I want you to think about something for a moment. Go to Wal-Mart. Even if you don't do it, just go to one, find one, or some store like that. And what you'll notice is there's a pattern. Right before every holiday, they have a little section that they put out all the holiday gear at. So now that July 4th is behind us, that section where you might have seen a lot of the things for July 4th, all the flag and such, it might have still some summer stuff because we still have a ways to go in the summertime. But what you're going to start seeing slowly but surely are school supplies showing up, because that's the next big thing that people are going to be purchasing for. You don't really see people putting out stuff for Labor Day as the next big holiday coming up here in the U.S. Like, yes, it's the end of summer. No one wants to celebrate the end of summer because that means the end of, going to the pool, going to the beach. People don't want to celebrate that. So what are they doing? They're doing the next best thing. Here, you need to buy school supplies for your kids. But the reason why this is important is we go through the motions without even realizing why. And it comes down to one simple thing and one simple question. How many people are truly free? And you might be wondering, but wait, we can do so many things. It's the land of opportunity here in the United States. There's so many things that's available. But I want you to think about it. How many people that's not the reality? How many people, their lives have been created for them? That their world has been dictated because of what someone said to them? I want you to think about this for a moment. How many people do you know where, if you're just to turn back the clock to high school, they had a guidance counselor tell them, well, this school thing is really not for you. Maybe you shouldn't be thinking about college. Maybe you should go and get a job, working wherever. And someone else defined what was possible for them. So that person, they might have been a late bloomer, but because someone else told them they weren't good enough, they just got an average job. They bought an average house, and they got 7 days of vacation a year. So they never really lived up to their potential because someone extinguished that fire long before it could really shine. So is that person truly free? Or you think about that person that, because of the amount of schooling they have, with hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans, they have to work constantly just to be able to pay them off over the next 20 years. Is that person truly free? Or that person, because they have a family and they had to take in a couple extra jobs just to make ends meet, and they don't really have time to take a vacation because they can't afford it. Everything they're doing is going towards making sure that they can send their kids to school because they don't live in the best of neighborhoods and pay for their mortgage. is that person truly free? Or are they just going through the motions when it comes to Independence Day? If we truly want to be free, we have to decide what we want to have. What is the lifestyle that we want to have in our lives? What is it that we want to be free from? And it doesn't mean that, oh, well, I don't want to work. Well, guess what? You got to work. But you can decide, what is it that you want to be working for? Do you want to work for someone else's dream, or do you want to work for your own? Do you want to celebrate that you created independence for yourself, that you're no longer dependent upon someone else giving you an allowance, saying that this is how much we're going to pay you every 2 weeks or every month for this job that you do? You're going to decide that this is what I am worth, so I am going to create this and then live life according to my terms. That is what the true definition of freedom means, is that we have to decide for ourselves what we want our lives to look like. If there's something that we want to have in life, we must be willing to do the work necessary to make it happen. We must decide for ourselves that we're no longer going to let someone else tell us what we can and cannot do, because each and every one of us is worth more than that. Each and every one of us has the capability, the capacity to do more. But we must decide for ourselves that we want it, and we must be willing to do about it. Do the things that are necessary. And you might be thinking, well, how is that possible? I don't know if I could do that. I want you to think about this for a moment. Take a look around where you live at. Look at how many immigrants, people who have moved here to the U.S. from other countries. Just take some time, do some research. You're going to meet someone out there. You'll find their story is they came here with maybe $200 in their pocket and the suitcases they could carry with them. And that was it. But they had a dream. They had a vision for what they wanted their life to look like. And then they worked for it. They did everything within their power to make that happen. They showed up each and every day with purpose, because they knew that if they wanted to have this type of freedom, they had to show up each and every day, and they had to work hard. Because guess what? They have an opportunity to create something for themselves that wasn't there where they came from. They knew that it was up to them. They had a responsibility to themselves and their families to make that happen, to create that freedom, that lifestyle, that freedom of choice that they didn't have before. Because there's places around the world where you don't get a choice. It's all determined on where you're born. There's some places that, depending on what type of caste you're born in, that determines what's possible for you in life. It doesn't matter how smart and gifted and talented you are. Like, oh no, you're born into that group of people. Sorry, Charlie, that's it. You're not going anywhere else in life. But here, we have that freedom to decide for ourselves what we want to make happen. And we have that freedom of choice. We can decide to create that future, or we can decide, I'm just going to sit on my couch and watch TV all day and not do a darn thing about it. But we have that freedom to decide for ourselves. But what you have to decide for yourself is, how badly do you want your own personal freedom? Do you want that freedom to decide how you want to make a living and how much you want to make, instead of someone else deciding it for you? You must make that decision, because each and every one of us has a different definition of what life looks like. For some people, it might mean they want to live in a big fancy house. They want to have the fancy cars. For other people, it might mean they just want to be able to be there for their children, for their family, to do the things that they've always wanted to do, but they didn't have the ability to do so when they were younger at that age. So you must decide for yourself, what do you want your personal freedom to look like, and be willing to do whatever it takes to get there. Because when you make that decision, anything and everything is possible. Because then you're turning your own personal definition of freedom into a reality. And remember, the quicker that you decide to do this, the quicker you could create that personal freedom. Because each and every day, we wake up with an opportunity to make a difference. And at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, did you do what was necessary to take one step closer to creating your own personal freedom? So with that, I hope this helps you today to decide what you need to be doing to create your own version of freedom in your life. So I encourage you, share this episode out with someone, because there's someone out there who needs to hear this message that will make an incredible difference in their day-to-day life.
Thanks for listening to the Big Movement Podcast today. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now that you've surely been inspired to take your entrepreneurial career and business to the next level, you can stop by the website and get more. And if you're ready to boost your business brand, be sure to grab your free report, 7 Easy Steps to Build Your Brand Today.